Hey there, messengers. This is Hylan with another little outreach prompting for us during this time of lockdown. Um, we wanted to assign, especially if you're Messenger Boot Camp, we wanted to really encourage and maybe even assign you guys to sharing your testimony on YouTube this week. Um, there's a couple different purposes to that. First of all, we want you guys to be able to grow in your ability to be a witness for Christ, and knowing how to share your testimony is a huge piece in that. That's a really good tool for sharing Jesus with others. The second is this is really a time when I think a lot more people are online looking at things they might not otherwise be looking for, especially in the spiritual realm of things. People with big questions as to, why is this whole coronavirus thing happening? What happens to human beings after they pass away, all that kind of stuff. And to have those tools out there, like our testimony videos for people to see, are really helpful for the people who are looking for answers to that. Um, Plus, I think it would just be really awesome to see the internet just flooded with videos of people sharing their stories about Jesus. So we want to invite you guys all into that as we share our testimonies on YouTube. If you're less familiar with sharing your testimony, there's three parts that I usually break it down into. One is, what was your life like before you met Jesus? What were you like as a person? What were some of the things you did, or thought? The second part is, what was your encounter with Jesus? Maybe you gave your life to Christ at a youth group gathering, or maybe a friend was sharing the gospel with you, and that was the first time you really believed that Jesus died for your sins and rose for you. The third part is, what does your life look like now? You looked one way before you encountered Jesus. You had your encounter with Jesus, which is really the most important part you want to share. But the third thing is, how does your life look like now? So those are the three parts of a testimony that I usually share with people. When we're on the streets or doing outreach in public, I usually try and cap mine to about a minute. But one of the great things with YouTube is there is no limit on the time, and people might be willing to listen for a lot longer because they can play that video in the background while they're doing something else. So feel free to post something. If you want to keep it down to 3 minutes and do kind of a quick and dirty type of thing, that's great. If you want to go into all the nuances of the different things that happen in your life, go for an hour if you want to. I've seen people do that. I wanted to talk about just a little bit about the technical stuff with this. I'm going to give you guys some links to help you out with this. But first of all, recording a video to YouTube is free, so you won't need to pay for anything extra with that. You might need to create an account if you don't have a Google account already. Like I said, that's free. It's really easy to do. You won't even necessarily need an extra camera. A lot of laptops have one built in. If you have a smartphone, those almost always have a camera built into them, either one that's front facing or the back side. And I'm going to have instructions on how you can do the video recording. There's a couple links we'll be sending you. If you're watching this directly on YouTube, the links will be in the video description below. But here's one important piece to remember. Make the video public. You'll get to choose whether it's public or unlisted or private. Choose public because, number one, it can show up on people's search results that way. Number two, it's way easier to share with people. And that brings me to my second point. Please share these with people. Go on to Facebook or Instagram or other social media, or if you want to text people the link to your testimony. I know people who have recorded their testimonies on YouTube, and they'll actually print little tracts with just the link to their testimony on there to hand to people. If they're not willing to read all that much, they can watch a video on their smartphones, and that way they have the gospel right there in their hand via the video of a person's testimony. So God bless you guys as you just spread the witness to Jesus this week through sharing your testimonies.